Hey there, gearheads. Today we're going through some of the most unfortunate design choices to ever emerge out of factory doors in the 1960s. We're going to talk about cars that, despite their performance or brand reputation, just couldn't escape the unattractive aesthetics factor. Kicking off our list is the 1960 Plymouth Valiant. Designed during a time when Chrysler Corporation was experimenting with bold and unconventional styles. Approximately 194,292 units were produced in its debut year. Now, this number reflects the initial curiosity and interest the car generated, despite its unconventional looks. The car featured an unusual slanted front grille and an overall body shape that seemed to belong more in a sci-fi film than on American roads. It had a pronounced shark nose front end and a slightly rounded rear. And unlike the prominent tail fins of the late 1950s, the Valiant's fins were smaller and more subdued. The combination of these elements gave the car almost a cartoonish look. General consumer feedback mirrored that of the critics. While some appreciated the Valiant's distinctive look, the majority found it to be too far shifted from the normal, impacting its broader acceptance. Despite its polarizing looks, the Valiant's practicality and reliability ensured that it continued in production with various design updates. Chrysler made efforts to tone down the styling in subsequent models, making them more appealing to a wider audience. Today, the 1960 Valiant's unique design makes it a curious collectible item for car enthusiasts and collectors who appreciate its distinctive charm. Number 9. 1961 Dodge Dart. Next up is the 1961 Dodge Dart, a car that stands out as one of the most controversial designs in the history of American automobiles. Dodge, again a division of the Chrysler Corporation, sought to create a distinctive vehicle that would make a bold statement in the competitive market of the early 1960s. It sported massive tail fins and a front grille that looked like it belonged on a different vehicle altogether. The sculpted sides and pronounced fins at the rear gave it a futuristic appearance, but were often seen as over-the-top and visually jarring. This design was intended to give the Dart a commanding road presence, but ended up being one of the most criticized features of the vehicle, among others. Some praised Dodge for its bold design choices, while others felt the Dart was an example of style over substance. The car's appearance was frequently described as awkward. The model line persisted through multiple generations, eventually shedding the controversial styling of the 1961 version. Number 8. 1962 Ford Thunderbird. The 1962 Ford Thunderbird, while being a performance marvel of the time, fell short in the looks department. The Thunderbird was often referred to as the Bullet Bird because of its sleek and aerodynamic design, which was a typical example of early 1960s American automotive style. It featured a bold, full-width front grille that created a distinctive look. Its dual round headlights were integrated into the grille, giving the car a wide, low-slung appearance. The prominent bullet shape of the front end was a standout design feature, intended to enhance the car's aerodynamics. Critics often pointed to the overly futuristic and somewhat bulky front end as a drawback. The Thunderbird's large size and luxurious features made it less practical for everyday use. The pronounced bullet nose and the car's overall length made it appear heavy and less agile compared to its counterparts. Consumers who purchased the Thunderbird appreciated its luxurious features and powerful performance. However, those looking for a more compact and sporty vehicle found its large size and unorthodox design less appealing. While the Bullet Bird era ended in 1963, the Thunderbird nameplate lived on, transitioning through several more generations. Number 7. 1963 Studebaker Avanti. The 1963 Studebaker Avanti was indeed a bold attempt to break into the sports car market, but its design left much to be desired. Avanti's odd front grille and bulging fenders made it stand out for all of the wrong reasons. The Studebaker wasn't ugly per se, but was very unconventional for its time. Its most notable features include the absence of a traditional front grille, a unique nose with dual headlights encased in glass, and an overall awkward shape. The rear of the Avanti was equally unique, with a sharply sloped rear window and minimalistic tail fins that flowed seamlessly into the car's body. Despite its potential, the Avanti's production was halted due to Studebaker's financial difficulties. However, the design and nameplate lived on through various revivals by different companies, maintaining its legacy in the automotive world. Number 6, 1964 Mercury Comet Cyclone. The 1964 Mercury Comet Cyclone aimed to blend performance with style, but ended up with an uninspiring design that failed to impress. The 1964 Comet Cyclone featured an aggressive exterior design that distinguished it from other cars of its time, but not for a good reason. It had unique badging, chrome accents, and a sporty hood scoop. Overall, it donned a boxy design, an uninspired front grille, and a lack of cohesive styling. The general public saw it as an underwhelming attempt at a sporty car. The production of the Comet was discontinued because of so little production and very few units produced. The Cyclone is a rare and collective piece of automotive history. Number 5, 1965 AMC Marlin. The American Motor Company, or AMC, tried to create a fastback coupe with the 1965 Marlin, but the result was a car with awkward proportions and an unappealing rear end. As an attempt to break away from its conservative image, AMC designed the Marlin. Now, the Marlin received mixed reviews upon its release. While some praised its bold styling and innovative design, others criticized its proportions and perceived lack of cohesion in its design elements. The oversized, fastback rear and odd roofline, in particular, were just polarizing among the critics and consumers alike. Critics panned its design aesthetics, calling it a mishmash of design elements. Now, while the Marlin was not a commercial failure, it did struggle to achieve the widespread popularity of its competitors. Its distinctive design was a double-edged sword, attracting some buyers while pushing away others. The Marlin was redesigned in later years, but it wasn't really able to shed its ugly reputation. Number 4, 1966 Rambler American Rogue. The 1966 Rambler American Rogue was meant to be a sporty, compact car, but ended up looking more like a dated sedan. It was AMC's attempt to inject a dose of sportiness and style into its compact car lineup, but its bland and boxy design didn't win many fans. It had a dull design and uninspiring styling. The Rogue failed to stand out in a market full of more stylish competitors. The car's proportions seemed awkward, with a high roofline that didn't complement its overall body shape. The front of the Rogue was particularly criticized for its unattractive grille and headlight configuration. The headlights placed at the extreme corners appeared too large and out of place, contributing to a rather bug-eyed appearance. Despite its shortcomings, the 1966 Rambler American Rogue did leave its mark. Today, its rarity and the fact that it represents a different design philosophy from the muscle car era make it a valued collectible. Number 3, 1967 Chevrolet Corvair. Chevrolet's 1967 Corvair was controversial right from the start, not only for its safety issues, but also for its unappealing looks. The car's rear engine design led to a bulging rear that many found unattractive. The design featured a prominent beltline that gave the car a somewhat bloated look, making it less appealing compared to the muscle cars of the era. The public's reaction to the 1967 Corvair was largely negative. Potential buyers were put off by the car's controversial reputation and its uninspiring design. Sales of the Corvair had been steadily declining since the mid-1960s, and the 1967 model did little to reverse this trend. Consumers were more interested in the flashy, high-performance cars from competitors. The Corvair was discontinued in 1969, and today it is more often than not remembered for its role on the automotive safety debate than for its design. Number 2, 1968 Ford Torino. The Ford Torino, introduced in 1968, was initially intended to be an upscale version of the Ford Fairlane. The 1968 Ford Torino was produced in various body styles, including two-door hardtops, convertibles, and station wagons. The car's large, squared-off front end, coupled with a relatively flat roofline and slab-sided body, gave it a bulky and heavy appearance. The rear bumper was a massive chrome slab that added to the car's bulky appearance, and the overall design lacked the visual interest and detailing that might have made it more appealing. When the 1968 Torino was first introduced, it received a mixed reaction from the public. While some appreciated its heavy and substantial appearance, many others found it unattractive and overly bulky. Potential buyers were put off by the car's heavy and ungainly appearance. The 1968 Ford Torino is an example of a car that missed the mark in terms of design. While it did have its share of fans, its not-so-attractive appearance prevented it from achieving the same level of success as some of its contemporaries. The Torino was redesigned in subsequent years, with later models gaining more positive reception. Number 1, 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, while a performance beast, had a design that many found off-putting. Its design choices, like many on this list, were bold and controversial, resulting in mixed reactions from the public. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am was produced in limited numbers, with only 697 units built. This included 689 coupes and 8 convertibles. The 69 Firebird Trans Am was distinctive with its wide stance and prominent hood scoops. They were functional, but added to the car's aggressive and somewhat over-the-top appearance. The rear spoiler was another point of contention. While it added to the performance, it was seen as too gaudy by some. Despite the mixed reactions to its design, the 1969 Firebird Trans Am managed to find its niche market and achieve moderate sales success. However, it did not become a mainstream hit, partly due to its looks and partly due to a comparatively higher price point than other muscle cars of the era. So, there you have it, folks. These are the top 10 ugliest American cars of the 60s. Whether it's oversized fins, awkward proportions, or just plain bad design choices, these cars remind us that beauty indeed lies in the eye of the beholder, and also in the comments section. So let us know which one you found to be the ugliest. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to our channel for more automotive content.